What's going on, guys? This is going to be a real rough, rugged recording here. Just woke up and pulled out the camera because I'm a sports fan. And that video I made yesterday, I'm going to take it down because that was an initial reaction. Now I've had more time to think about this. Let me preface, and I should have done this yesterday. I didn't become a LeBron James fan when he came to Miami. And just because I'm from Florida, doesn't mean that I didn't follow LeBron when he was in high school, because I did, because I'm a sports fan. I'm a diehard sports fan, and I heard rumblings when I was young about a LeBron James kid up in St. Mary's High School, and they showcased him on ESPN numerous times. I remember watching the McDonald's All-American High School game his senior year, right before he was about to go into the draft. I knew he wasn't going to college because he had so much talent, he didn't need it. He was going straight to the NBA, and back then you didn't have to play a year. And so that kid was just what I saw in all those spotlight games. Oh my God, I was like, this is gonna be a fun ride. So even though I was a Miami Heat first and foremost, I'm a Miami sports fan. There's no major sports teams in Pensacola, Florida. So, I choose to stay in state. And there are other, cities, Tampa, Jacksonville, but I was born and bred a Miami sports fan. Other than when it comes to college football, I am a Florida Gators fan. I was not a Miami Hurricanes fan. No. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But I know when I was young, it was Miami Dolphins. When the Heat came to Miami, we had a basketball franchise because of the affiliation with me being a Miami Dolphins fan, that Miami Heat fan. But when it came to football, Emmitt Smith played here in Pensacola, Florida. He was an Escambia High School Gator, went on to be a Florida Gator. So I guess that's where my Florida Gator fanship came from, because of Emmitt Smith. So, and that's why I wasn't a Miami Hurricanes fan. So, for those saying, oh, you didn't become a LeBron fan, so he came to your city, to your team. Man, come on, man. I was a LeBron James fan way back when. So that's not. And let me tell you what, I had some exciting times cheering for LeBron James, because one of the most hated teams was the San Antonio Spurs. I never liked the San Antonio Spurs. Thought they were boring, unexciting, yet they kept winning and winning and winning. So in 2007, when LeBron hoisted those Cavs on his shoulder and got to the championship and got swept by the Spurs, that kind of hurt. And so what hurts the most is the fact the Spurs got my team. We got them 2 years ago, but they got us last year. And so what really bothered me, I know LeBron's from Ohio. I don't care. Go home, great. That's awesome. Those fans, you shattered on them. You did things wrong. Fine. Make it up to them. Go home. But why now? Why abandon ship now? You came to Miami and you were proclaiming 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 championships. I'm appreciative you brought us 2 and took us to the finals 4 straight years. That's 4 straight years that I got to just go crazy during NBA playoff season. And I'm still going to go crazy because I have faith. We sign Bosh, we get Wade, we get Haslam. If we can just get a small forward to replace LeBron, that is just 25%, in my opinion. All we need, maybe 50% of what LeBron produced will be alright. Because the Eastern Conference is dismal. Dismal. Now, I don't know the dates. I haven't checked the dates yet, but I'm looking forward to that first Cleveland-Miami matchup. Ill will towards LeBron is out the window. I no longer, that initial anger reaction. LeBron, he's got a family to take care of, 2 boys and a daughter on the way. He's going back home. I understand. I was a LeBron James fan before. I'm just upset. And the thing that upsets me the most is the fact, why now? He couldn't sign, and I said this in the last video, why couldn't he sign a 1-year deal? Come back, try it one more time, because it's clear the Eastern Conference is weak. Cleveland would have been there for him in 2016. Sign a 1-year deal for 20, 30, I think he could sign it, I think it was like 25 million or something around there he was allowed to sign for a year. And take that. That's a lot of money, dude. Come back with Bosh. Wade and Bosh could sign long-term deals. Haslam's coming back. That would be like if Wade, Wade is a hometown boy. Okay, this is his team. He's been here. So, actually, Dwayne Wade is from Chicago. I take that back. But he's played his entire career with Miami. Now he has something on his head right now. He's from the Chicago area. He's got a way. He's toward the end of his career. Does he want to go play for his hometown team, the Chicago Bulls, the team he grew up watching Jordan win all those championships, or does he want to stay loyal to the city that drafted him, to the city that he's played for his entire career, to the city he's brought three championships too. So if Wade were to leave, I wouldn't be upset because he's given us three. And plus, his career is almost over. But the reason I'm upset the most is the 1 year thing. The 1 year thing. Why couldn't he? And when I was hearing in reports, was like he's more likely going to sign a year and go to Cleveland next year. I believe there was some unfinished business left in Miami. And as a diehard Miami Heat fan and a sports fan overall, there is. We got the Spurs 2 years ago, but they got us hard last year. LeBron, you came to Miami with a purpose. I never expected 7 championships. I was expecting probably, to be honest with you, reasonably 3. I expected 3. You got us 2. Why not see what Pat Riley could get for a year? I think with the Eastern Conference the way it is, and even though the Western Conference has some powerhouses, but LeBron James is power almighty. He's the king. Okay, he's probably going to go down as the greatest of all time. Just see what Pat Riley could have done. Bosh, Wade, Haslam. A few pieces you could have fit in there. Just come back for a year, LeBron. You could have came back for 1 year and tried to get back, because you would have easily gotten back to the NBA Finals. And you know who's going to be there? The Spurs, because the Spurs are clearly the team in the West. No Rockets, no Thunder. It's the Spurs. And I hate the Spurs. And now, I will say this though. If the Cavaliers get to those finals and it's the Spurs and the Cavaliers beat the Spurs, I'm going to be happy because I don't like the Spurs. But the reason I don't like the Spurs is because they're boring. They're tiresome. They're not exciting. I like flashy, fast-paced basketball. I don't like that boring, slow, throw the ball around type stuff. So that's just not me. And also, my father, his side of the family, San Antonio, Texas, and never had him in my life, and I knew they were diehard Spurs fans, so that kind of is another reason why I don't like the Spurs, because of that. Not having my father in my life and knowing his family is all from San Antonio and they love the Spurs. And I talked to a couple of distant relatives that I don't really know on Facebook here and there, and when the last 4 years, especially the last 2, we were jabber-jawing back and forth about the Spurs and the Heat and all that stuff. So they got me last year. I just wanted revenge, to be honest with you. I thought the Heat could make it back next year, and the rubber match with the Spurs. Best 2 out of 3, right? Revenge, LeBron. It's about revenge. Sure. You know what? You're about. And I hate to say this, LeBron is awesome. He's awesome. But I understand he was probably exhausted, and from what I'm understanding, the Heat roster was not that great last year. The way it was broken down, and Bosh didn't play as well. But the fact is, this team still, with that said, got back to the finals. And it just seemed like to me, LeBron in the finals, maybe he was exhausted and finished. It just seemed like, when they see that their leader, their king, worn out, sitting on the bench, not able to come back in the game. And I'm not talking about that game where his knee or where his cramps. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about there was a game later on where the last 6 minutes of the game he couldn't get back in because he was too exhausted. When they see their leader sitting on the bench, pump some Gatorade in you, get an IV, do something, come back. They see him sitting there, it's not going to make the other guys want to play hard. So, anyways, hey man, I'm a sports fan, no ill will towards anybody. I just don't understand. It's hard for me to grasp. And another thing I want to touch on, he proclaims about the kids he broke their hearts in Cleveland, and that's why he's going back for them. What about these kids in Miami that may have not known who were too young to understand his Cleveland days, but are old enough to understand his Miami days? What about those children? Those children now are conflicted because, they're probably Heat fans from their parents. And now they got to say, well, wait a minute, do I go still cheer for LeBron, or do I still cheer for Miami? Now I'm old enough to decide, hey, I'm gonna cheer for Miami, and you know what? I'll root for the Cavs a little bit if they get to the play against the Spurs. But as far as rooting for them on a regular basis, not really. Um, but hey, it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. I'm just a fan, and so the fact that I didn't make it clear that I was a huge LeBron fan way before, when he was in high school, when I was watching him on ESPN in the spotlight games, and it's like I was a bandwagon jumper because I'm clearly not, and hey, it is what it is, But he didn't even apologize to Miami in that essay he wrote to Sports Illustrated. There was no apology, and I'll reread it. But from what I see, I don't see any. He needs to apologize to us. Back to the kids. There's so many heartbroken kids in Miami right now. Where's the apology to them? Those kids don't understand about. And I initially didn't understand the home thing. I had to sit on it and dwell on it all night. Okay, before clearer thoughts prevail. But there's a lot of heartbroken kids now in Miami, and I don't see any apologies. And I know it's early in the process, but if he doesn't apologize to those kids, that's wrong. It's more important to the kids, man. There's a lot of kids crying right now, and those same kids cried in Cleveland. But those kids that were crying in Cleveland are now probably close to being in their teens, because a lot of the kids you see crying were probably around 8, 9, somewhere in there. But those kids are like way older now, 5 years older. So maybe a little more mature. These kids in Miami will just have to learn. I understand it's his home. I understand. Look, Dad, he wants to bring his hometown team. And if I'm from that area, and there's a guy I talked to on Facebook, Tim, he's a Cleveland sports fan. So this is great for him. I can't think of the word, but what I felt when LeBron made the decision to take his talents to South Beach, the elation that I felt 5 years ago, 4 years ago, is the elation that he's feeling now. But you already had LeBron once, man. Do you need him back again? Come on. You already had him. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. But you know what? You're about to get Kevin Love, too. And that's another thing, man. I don't want to get into this, but it just... Come on, man. If he's so... I know he's great. He's awesome. But why? Why does he have to... Michael Jordan. Nobody knew who Scottie Pippen was. Nobody knew who B.J. Armstrong was. Nobody knew who Bill Cartwright was. Tony Kukoc, Steve Kerr. No one knew any of these people. Michael made them better. LeBron is surrounding himself with people we already know, stars. And in Cleveland, he was a star. And he got him to the finals, but couldn't get him over the hump. And they left. It seemed like LeBron, hey man, you go back to Cleveland, there's some young talent there. Why you got to bring in Kevin Love now? To me, that just sounds like, wait a minute, now you're surrounding yourself with more named talent. If you're matured, and, I'm not upset, hey, whatever. I'm just making a point here. If you're matured to the point now where you'll pick this young talent and lift them up and can win a championship with what the roster has now, why need to bring in a superstar Kevin Love? Why do you have to bring in another named guy? You know what I mean? But, he's awesome. Okay, in the cases he came to Miami, he had to surround himself with stars. For me, I've been a bit as a fan. But, hey, it's the same thing. Hey, if he could have came to Miami with just Wade, because Wade was kind of even in the decline then. Wade hasn't really been all that super spectacular in years because he hasn't been healthy. And, he's had some spectacular moments, but he's just not the Wade of old. The Wade from '05 when he was with Shaq winning the championship, But, I would just like to see if LeBron's going to do this the right way. I just want to see him go back to Cleveland and not have to bring in another big-name star. For me, the right way going back home would be to bring your Cavaliers a championship, great, but do it based on your talents and the young talent that's already there that apparently they knew. Dan Gilbert realized LeBron was coming back 2 years ago and already started to make the roster moves and everything necessary to clear. And it was just recently when last Sunday he talked to Gilbert, and that's when they made the Jarrett Jack trade with a three-team trade where Jarrett Jack, I think, went to the Nets and the Celtics were involved. Or, I don't understand three-team trades all that well. I'm not a finance or a GM or anything. I've never really studied. I don't get the three-team trade when I'm playing NBA 2K14 and all the NBA games in years past. I never really understood the three-team trade, but because the game doesn't do a good job of explaining it. And I guess I never really researched it. But beside that, they made room for LeBron. I'm just wondering again, back to the point. Kyrie Irving, he's great. Andrew Wiggins, they're about to trade him away for Kevin Love. Yeah, okay. Right now, Kevin Love's better, but Andrew Wiggins is going to be a stud. Poor kid comes to Cleveland. He's so elated. Now he hears about LeBron coming back, and the kid more than likely is going to get traded. Poor kid. I just wish, hey, you come back home. Your goal before was to lead your team to a championship, and you couldn't, do it, whatever factors involved. So you had to leave. You had to go soul searching. You had to go win those titles, help another city out. Great. And it was my team that benefited. Now you're going back home. Try to do it again. Try to be the superstar and make those other guys around you, because you got a better talent pool than you did at in my opinion, any point in any previous Cleveland team that you had before. So, anyways, I'm rambling on, but I just want to make it clear. I was angry, obviously, but after thinking about it, but there's still some things that bother me. But you know what, Cleveland, you guys win. He's your hometown guy. I'll never understand why now, because he's gonna go back, obviously. Even I was smart enough to realize, he was gonna go back at one point in his career. Just, I don't know why now. I don't know. Something had to happen in the management. Something had to happen behind the scenes, and hopefully we'll learn. In my opinion, I think, when Pat Riley opened his damn mouth talking about I don't know all the words, but Pat Riley said something. I think that kind of upset LeBron. I think he kind of made LeBron feel like, hey, wait a minute, it was your fault that we lost. In a way, he was kind of backhandedly blaming LeBron for the loss, and I think that was the wrong move. But I think Pat Riley potentially cost us that 1-year deal that I thought we were going to have with LeBron, because I was not expecting long term. I was expecting 1 year, see if we could get back and get a little bit of revenge on the Spurs again. But hey, didn't happen. So to Cleveland, all the Cleveland fans, to you, Tim, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Because you know what? It may not last. Because if he doesn't win championships and the roster doesn't become what he thinks it should, he may leave again. He has a history of leaving. So you better enjoy it. Because I'm telling you right now, this guy, he's great and all that, but he wants championships. And, time will tell. But if Cleveland doesn't win a championship, I don't think he's going to stay there for more than a couple years. I believe he wants to win a title there within maybe 2-3 years. And I don't think if that happens, I think he's gone. And I don't know where we'll go after that. But, because he's only like, 29? Let's say in 3 years? God, 29 years old, man. Wow. Because he came into the league at 18, so it feels like he's been around for so long, But, 3 years, he'll be what, 32? 33? Because he might turn 30 later this year. I don't know his birthday, sorry. But he still will be like kind of towards the end of his prime. So, and to be honest with you, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So, anyways, that's it. That's all. I just wanted to clear my other video up, my angry video. I'm upset, but I sounded stupid yesterday. That was that initial upset reaction that I've talked about before. I just need to think before I react. I'll probably get a lot of hate on this video too, but I'm trying to be reasonable about it. So anyways, that's it. That's all. Thank you guys. Now it's time for me to take a shower, because that's what I was about to do, and I've been watching SportsCenter all morning and listening. I just had to pull out the camera and while my thoughts were still fresh instead of waiting. So alright guys, peace. And LeBron, if you don't win championships in Cleveland, come back to Miami, please.